If you've ever tried to paint a straight line on a wall, you know how difficult it can be to get a nice crisp edge, especially on textured walls. Here's Chris with a great technique for getting laser sharp edges using a technique I've never seen before.
This is Chris, the Idaho Painter. In this video, I'm going to show you mere mortals how to paint a laser straight line on this textured wall right here using a few simple items. And all you're going to need is some painter's masking tape, some frog tape, you're going to need a caulking gun, some clear caulking, and you're going to need a paintbrush. So stay tuned for this simple tip of painting laser straight lines on a wall and on your trim. So making a laser straight line on your wall or on your trim where it meets the wall is a very simple process, and we're going to be using, you can use just frog tape, and frog tape, when paint actually begins to bleed through the tape under the surface, it has a product that actually swells and stops the bleeding and will give you straight lines. We've had really good luck with frog tape on smooth surfaces like glass and metal, but when you're dealing with a wall and anything rough, it's a good idea to use this method that we're actually using to assure that you get a laser straight line. And we're going to be using, you can either use frog tape or masking tape, but we typically like to ensure an ultra laser straight line. We like to use just frog tape and the caulking. So I'm going to begin the process by showing you on this wall our laser straight line, and we're going to just put some frog tape on this wall right here. So I'm just going to, so just for instance, if this was gonna be, we're gonna be doing a stripe on this wall, I've got my tape on there, and now with frog tape I can go over this and I can paint it now, and you're gonna get a fairly straight line, a lot better than you're gonna get just using straight masking tape because of that technology the frog tape has in it where it actually swells. But to ensure that it's completely sealed, this is where the caulking comes in play. And now we're gonna use our clear caulking to go over this. So I'm gonna show you this step now. This is where the secret of getting a laser straight line comes into play. So we got our frog tape on the wall here, and for instance this could be a stripe in a bedroom, or this could be your trim where it meets the wall. But say if we're trying to make a laser straight line in a kid's bedroom, now I'm going to be painting this side. This is where my wall color is going to stay, but I'm going to be painting this side. So I'm going to take and just put a nice small bead of caulking right over where this edge of my tape is, my frog tape. Now I'm going to take that and I'm going to wipe off, and I'm going to just push it down and wipe off all this excess. And what you're actually doing is pushing that clear caulking and smearing it right along the edge of your frog tape right here to actually add an additional seal to that frog tape. And part of this, the key of this process is to not let that clear caulking dry before you paint it. You're going to want to paint over that before it dries, and then the next very key step is to actually pull your tape before the paint dries or the caulking dries. Because if you leave it set on there and the paint dries, what happens if you're using a satin paint, the paint is going to bridge from the tape to the wall, and when you go to peel off your tape, you could pull off some of the actual paint and it's going to leave a jagged line. So the key steps to this is to smear on the clear caulking and try to get all of it off. All you want is just that edge sealed right there, and get all the excess of that caulking off. Just wipe it on a wet rag. I like to actually use a wet rag, wipe the excess caulking that I have on a wet rag, and then begin the painting process. And don't do too much caulking if you're doing a whole lot of area or a lot of lines or a lot of trim. If you do too much and the caulking dries before you get to painting it, then the process isn't going to work. So now while my caulking is still wet, I'm going to begin the painting process. And when I'm actually doing painting over the tape, I don't actually like to roll over it. I like to actually use a brush, because a brush isn't going to push it underneath the tape either, or force it underneath the tape. I just brush over the top of it, and just going to cruise right along, brushing over the top of this. Make sure it's completely covered, 100%. And then you're going to pull your tape off. I'm going to show you what it looks like. I'll pull my tape off right here. And there's my laser straight line right there. And this is, you can't see it in the video, but this is a orange peeled textured wall. So it's a pretty rough wall. And there you have a straight line. And one of the key things is that clear caulking, and some of the clear caulking may bleed underneath the tape, but since it's clear, you'll see it, it's gonna be white, but it actually dries clear. So it goes underneath the parts of the tape that's raised that can't seal itself over this rough surface. So that's another key element to this whole caulking process, is using clear caulking. Here's a closer look of the actual line I just painted. It's still wet, but you can see the roughness to the wall, and yet that line is still laser sharp. So once again, just to go over just getting these laser straight lines, you have a couple options. You can use the frog tape. That's the foolproof method, frog tape and clear caulking. The frog tape is extremely expensive. It's typically over $5 a roll. This painter's masking tape that we use right here is approximately $1 a roll to $1.20 a roll. So it's gonna save you a lot of money. We've had a lot of success actually just using this tape and clear caulking and pulling it off and having laser straight lines. But if you wanna guarantee yourself those straight lines on really rough surfaces, the frog tape is even just a little bit more assurance. But either way, it's going to give you a good straight line. So I hope you enjoyed this simple painting hack, how to paint straight lines on your walls and your trim. If you want more of my simple tips and tricks on YouTube, come visit my channel, The Idaho Painter. And don't forget, please leave your comments right below how you go about painting straight lines on your walls or trim. Here at the Home and Garden for Mere Mortals, we love to hear your comments because it's just going to make us a lot better painters.
Hey guys, it's Tom again from the Homecraft Chronicles. Have you ever had a mishap like this? Well, patching a hole in drywall is really not as complicated as it may seem, and I'm going to show you just how quick and easy it can be. I'm just going to take my straight edge, make a few lines